Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen we're making a delicious, easy hot milk cake. So let's get started. First off, set your oven to 350. This batter comes together very fast. And now in a medium to small saucepan, add 1 cup or 240 mils of whole milk, along with half a cup or 113 grams of unsalted butter. And you can break it into a couple pieces so it melts faster. This is a very old-fashioned cake from the Depression or the 1930s, and it is really simple but so delicious. We're gonna pop this over medium heat until the butter's melted and it's nice and bubbly. You can stir this every once in a while to make sure the butter is evenly melted, but it's kind of a set it and forget it situation. A hot milk cake is delicious in a similar way to a cake that's been reverse creamed. Reverse creaming has you mixing up the butter and then you fold in the flour and sugar until it's like crumbly sand. That wraps the flour in fat and protects it from having gluten formation. This will wrap the flour in hot fatty milk. So it's the same thing that's gonna happen. It's gonna give you a really tender and somewhat tighter crumb. Okay, this can hang out over here. In the meantime, let's get our flour together. While my milk and butter are warming up, we're gonna quickly get our dry ingredients together in a medium bowl, starting with 2 cups or 240 grams of all-purpose flour. Just get that right in there. And as usual, the best way to measure flour is with a scale. If you don't have one, buy one. And if you don't feel like doing that, just fluff the flour up, sprinkle it into your measuring cup and level it off. Never scoop. Scooping gives you way too much flour. Ooh, like I just did because I wasn't paying attention. To puff things up, I'm gonna use 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and this is one of the things that could go wrong in this cake. The baking powder will react once it's mixed with wet ingredients. So if you didn't preheat your oven and it's warming up and you're waiting too long for the batter to go in, it might not rise evenly. So just make sure that your oven is nice and hot and you get this cake into the oven as soon as it's all mixed up and in the pan. Very important. And for some contrast, half a teaspoon of salt. That's it. My scale is done. I'm gonna set this aside and give it a whisk. By the way, if you like my videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's 2 new recipes every single week and shorts too. My flour is all mixed up. Now in a separate bowl or in your stand mixer fitted with a paddle attachment, we're gonna mix our eggs and sugar up. Let's add 2 cups or 400 grams of granulated sugar right into our bowl and 4 large room temperature eggs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The sugar is sweet and will soften the cake, and the eggs are gonna hold it together and give it some structure. We're gonna mix this on medium-high now for 3 to 4 minutes. You're gonna see the texture and color change drastically. We're basically looking for a nice fluffy texture, and if your milk starts to boil over, just take it off heat, it'll stay warm. So you can see this is a beautiful, fluffy, light, pale mixture. I will say that if you're using a hand mixer with beaters, as opposed to a stand mixer with a paddle attachment, this is much faster, just so you know. I'm gonna add the flour mixture right into the eggs, and now mix on low until almost combined. Some of these hand mixers have the fastest low setting, it's crazy. Okay, just combined. Now we're gonna add our milk in while mixing on low, just like this. By the way, if you've ever made my Boston cream pie, it uses a very similar method, just like this. That's really mixed well. You can always use your hand beaters as a whisk. Nice. We're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla right now. Just mix that in. Smells so good. This gets poured right into our 9x13-inch pan right now. You have a couple options here. You can butter and flour it, some baking spray. I'm also using a cradle so I can take it out. I don't like serving it in the pan. I like it to be out of the pan. Let's pour this in right now. Beautiful batter. It smells like custard. This cake came about in the Depression in the 30s when things were scarce, but it's very delicious. There's a lot of interesting like Depression era solutions, like hot milk cake and ermine frosting too, I would count there, which uses flour and milk to reduce the amount of butter you use. We're gonna pop this right into our hot oven and it bakes for 28 to 32 minutes or until it's golden on top and the center is set. In you go. Allow your cake to cool completely. I removed mine from the pan with my Easy Cradle, and now we're gonna dust it with powdered sugar. You could add any topping you'd like. It could be whipped cream, your favorite frosting, or just plain. This cake is so perfectly sweet. Give it a slice, and just like that, it's ready to enjoy. This cake's gonna go fast, but it will last up to 4 days at room temperature. Just make sure it's nice and covered. This cake is so fluffy and tender. It is wild. They should call it hot milk cloud cake. I hope you get a chance to make this delicious recipe, and if you like my videos, hit that subscribe button and check out my easy cake playlist.